Have you ever felt too small or insignificant to make a real difference? It's a feeling we all get sometimes, but what if I told you that even the smallest among us holds a power we can barely imagine? Today, we're diving into one of the most timeless and beloved fables ever told, The Lion and the Mouse. It's a simple story, but its message about kindness, respect, and the surprising nature of strength is more relevant today than ever. So, settle in, and let us rediscover a tale that proves size has nothing to do with the impact you can have on the world. Once upon a time, deep in the heart of a vast, sun-drenched jungle, a mighty lion was taking a nap. He was the undisputed king of the beasts, his mane like a golden crown, and his roar could make the very earth tremble. As he slept peacefully in the shade of a giant banyan tree, a tiny, curious mouse, scurrying about his day, accidentally ran across the lion's massive paw. Startled from his slumber, the lion awoke with a ferocious roar. In a flash, he pinned the terrified little mouse under his paw. The mouse trembled, his tiny heart beating like a drum. "Pardon me, Your Majesty," he squeaked. "I didn't mean to wake you. I was just looking for a berry and lost my way. Please let me go. I promise if you spare my life, I will find a way to repay your kindness one day." The lion let out a deep, rumbling laugh. The idea was absurd. How could a creature so tiny, so fragile, ever help him, the king of the jungle? He looked at the trembling mouse, so small and helpless. The lion was amused, not angry. "Repay me?" he chuckled. "And how would a little thing like you ever help a lion? You are not even a mouthful." But the mouse's plea was so earnest, and the lion was in a good mood after his nap. With another laugh, he lifted his paw. "All right, little one, off you go. Be more careful where you scurry. I will spare you not because I expect any help, but because the thought of you trying to help me is the funniest thing I've heard all day." The mouse, overjoyed and grateful, bowed his head quickly and scurried away, his promise echoing in his tiny heart. Days turned into weeks and life in the jungle continued as usual. The lion roamed his kingdom with pride, and the little mouse went about his quiet life, never forgetting the lion's act of mercy. He always remembered the promise he had made. Then, one fateful afternoon, the lion's confident roar was replaced by a roar of pain and panic. While stalking his prey, he had blundered into a trap set by hunters. A thick, heavy rope net dropped from the trees, entangling him completely. He thrashed and struggled with all his might, but the more he fought, the tighter the ropes became. He was trapped, helpless. His roars of frustration echoed through the jungle, a desperate cry for help that sent all other animals fleeing in fear. But one creature didn't run away. The little mouse heard the lion's roars and recognized the voice of the king who had spared his life. His heart pounded, not with fear this time, but with a sense of duty. He followed the sound, his small size allowing him to dart unseen through the undergrowth. When he arrived, he saw the heartbreaking sight. The mighty lion, tangled and defeated, exhausted from his struggle. "Your Majesty!" the mouse called out. The lion looked down, his eyes filled with despair. He barely recognized the tiny creature at first. "It's me," said the mouse. "The one you set free. Don't worry, I'm here to help you." The lion could only let out a defeated sigh. What could this tiny mouse possibly do? But the mouse didn't waste a second. He climbed up the thick ropes, his small size now a huge advantage. He found a main cord of the net and began to gnaw at it with his sharp little teeth. He worked tirelessly, gnawing and chewing, strand by strand. It was slow, difficult work. His jaw ached, but he didn't stop. He remembered his promise. Slowly but surely, one rope snapped, then another, and another. The lion watched in stunned silence as the impossible happened. The tiny mouse, driven by gratitude, was methodically dismantling the trap that had held the king of the jungle captive. The lion felt a flicker of hope grow into a flame. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the mouse gnawed through the last main rope. With a final snap, the net loosened its grip. The lion summoned the last of his strength, and with a mighty heave, he broke free. He stood tall, shaking the remaining ropes from his mane, and looked down at the exhausted little mouse at his feet. The mouse had done it. He had kept his promise. The lion lowered his massive head, his gaze no longer filled with amusement, but with deep respect and gratitude. "Little friend," he said, his voice soft and full of awe. "You were right. I was wrong to laugh at you. You saved my life. I mocked your promise. I was wrong to laugh at you. You saved my life. I mocked your promise. I mocked your promise. But you have shown me that kindness is never wasted, and that courage and loyalty come in all sizes. From this day forward, you are my friend, and you will always have the protection of the king of the jungle." And so, the lion and the mouse became the most unlikely of friends. The story of how the tiny mouse saved the mighty lion spread throughout the jungle. And from that day on, everyone understood a powerful truth, that no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Even the mightiest can find themselves in need, and sometimes it is the smallest and most humble among us who hold the key to our freedom. So, the next time you feel small, remember the lion and the mouse. Remember that your kindness, your courage, and your unique abilities have a value that can't be measured by size or strength. You have the power to make a huge difference in the world, often when and where it's least expected. Thank you so much for joining me for this story today. I hope it inspired you as much as it inspires me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next story. What other fables do you love? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay kind and stay curious.